Okay, so February 1978. Picture this. Snow everywhere. And 5 men, they'd just watched a basketball game, heading home. Should have been simple, right? Less than 100 kilometers.
Yeah, straightforward. But they just vanished, never made it home.
And their car found abandoned way up in the snowy mountains. Months go by.
And 4 of them are found dead.
But the fifth, Gary Mathias, gone. Completely gone. It's the question, isn't it? What happened to the Yuba County Five?
It really is. It's one of those cases that just sticks with you nearly 50 years later. Still so many unanswered questions.
So for you listening, we're going to try and unpack this. We'll look at the facts, the really strange details, the theories.
Yeah, we want to give you a clear picture. We'll talk about the men themselves, their last known movements, that abandoned car.
The discovery of the bodies, and of course the enduring mystery of Gary Mathias. We've pulled info from, news reports. There's a book on the case, online discussions.
Trying to piece it all together for you.
All right, let's start with the men. Who were they? This group of 5.
Okay, so first, Bill Sterling. He was 29, described as thoughtful, religious, liked to read, apparently researched mental health stuff.
And importantly, didn't like the snow. Had his clothes laid out for another game the next day. Seems like he expected to be home.
Exactly. Then you have Ted Weir, 32, lives with his mom, worked with Jackie Hewitt, another one of the guys. People said Ted was very loving.
He was also really looking forward to this basketball tournament they had coming up, right? Had his outfit ready.
Yeah, special outfit, new white shoes, the whole deal. His sister mentioned he sometimes missed social cues. Maybe relevant, maybe not.
And Gary Mathias, he was 25.
Right. Matthias is interesting. He had a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, was discharged from the Army because of it, but family said he was taking his medication regularly.
Worked for his stepdad's gardening business. Athletic, musical too, apparently.
Yeah. Then Jackie Hewitt, the youngest, only 24. Lived on a farm, had a beagle, a motorbike. His mom called him a delight.
Best friends with Ted Weir. His mom also said he was slow but real happy.
That's the description, yeah. And apparently Ted was quite protective of him.
Okay. And the driver, Jack Madruga.
Jack Madruga, 30 years old. He was the one driving his 69 Mercury Montego. Described as quiet, introverted, but also like very, very smart, very kind and loving.
And protective of his car, apparently.
Yeah.
Knew the route to Chico well.
Yeah, seems like it. So you get this picture, right? A group of guys, different personalities, but connected by this shared interest in sports.
Especially basketball. They played on this team for a Yuba County nonprofit.
For people with disabilities, yeah. And they were genuinely excited about this tournament the next day. The prize was Disneyland tickets.
Wow. So a big deal for them. They go to this game at California State University in Chico.
Friday night, February 24th, 1978. Game ends around 10 p.m.
And afterwards?
They stop at a place, Bears Market, near the campus, grab some snacks, drinks. The clerk there remembered them, said they seemed excited and happy.
Okay, so far so normal. Then they should have headed south, back towards Yuba City and Marysville. About, 78 kilometers?
A familiar drive. But they didn't.
No, they went north, up into the mountains, Plumas National Forest.
Which is completely the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like 112 kilometers from Chico, away from home. This is where it gets really confusing.
Totally inexplicable, and obviously their family started to worry when they didn't show up.
Understandably.
Right.
But the police, well, they were apparently a bit hesitant at first, because they were adults.
Right. Took until Saturday night for a missing persons report to actually be filed.
And then Tuesday came the first real clue, the car.
Madruga's Mercury Montego. A forestry worker had actually seen it on Saturday morning but didn't report it until Tuesday.
Where exactly was it found?
Just off a dirt road, up in the Plumas Forest, past the snow line, stuck in a snowbank.
But how stuck? Was it, buried?
See, that's the thing. Reports say it was intact and undamaged, and investigators apparently thought it wasn't badly stuck at all, could have been pushed out relatively easily.
So why leave it? A working car. Bizarre.
Very bizarre. The keys were gone. That's another strange detail.
Keys gone, but the car itself was okay. Had gas.
Yep, had fuel. Maps in the glove compartment. One window was rolled down.
A window down. In the freezing cold.
Yeah. And inside, they found the wrappers from the snacks they bought at Bears Market. Confirmed they'd been there.
Okay. What about this other guy, Joseph Shones? He factors in here, right?
Right, Shones. He reported getting his own car stuck on that same road, maybe 45 meters or so behind where the Mercury was found. On the night the guys disappeared, he had a heart attack trying to push his car.
And he said he saw something.
He claimed he saw headlights behind him, heard voices, maybe saw figures with a flashlight. He even mentioned possibly seeing a woman with a baby. Later, after seeing pictures, he thought maybe some of the voices sounded like the missing men. He also mentioned seeing what he thought might have been a red pickup truck nearby, but his account was confused, perhaps understandably given his medical state.
That red truck thing pops up elsewhere too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a supposed sighting at a diner. But it's all pretty shaky.
Very shaky, no real corroboration, lots of inconsistencies. So Sean's account is interesting, but hard to know exactly what he saw or heard.
So we have the car, abandoned, miles off course, seemingly workable, keys gone, window down, wrappers inside, and maybe, possibly, other people or vehicles around. It's a lot of weirdness.
It really is. And then nothing for months. The snow was incredibly deep that year. Search parties couldn't get far.
Until the spring thaw. June.
Yeah, June 4th. A motorcyclist is out, sees a Forest Service trailer, part of a mountain campground, notices a window is broken.
And inside.
Inside, they found Ted Weir. He was wrapped in, 8 sheets, like a shroud. His feet were severely frostbitten. His shoes were missing.
But the trailer, it had supplies, right? Heat.
That's another baffling part. The trailer had propane tanks, so potentially heat. There were also sea rations and other supplies in a nearby storage shed that had been broken into. Enough food for one person for maybe a year.
And yet he died. How long did they think he'd survived?
The coroner estimated he'd been alive in there for, get this, 8 to 12 weeks. 8 to 12 weeks. How is that even possible?
It's astonishing. He'd lost about 100 pounds, died of starvation and hypothermia or maybe pneumonia. But surviving that long, it just raises more questions. How did he manage it? Was he alone the whole time?
Especially since, we'll get to that. But the discoveries didn't stop there.
No. Just 2 days later, June 6th.
They found the remains of Bill Sterling and Jack Madruga, about 18 kilometers, so roughly 11 miles from the car, but northeast of the trailer, just a few feet off the road. Animals had gotten to them.
Sterling's wallet was found with him.
Yeah. And the next day, June 7th, this is heartbreaking. Jackie Hewitt's father, who was part of the search party, found his son's remains.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Less than 100 meters from where they found Jackie's watch, his clothes, shoes, wallet. His skull was found nearby a few days later.
So that's 4 of them. Sterling, Weir, Madruga, Hewitt. But what about Gary Mathias?
Never found. Not a trace of his body. The only physical evidence connected to him after they left the car
Was his tennis shoes, found inside the trailer, where Ted Weir died.
Exactly. His shoes were there. Weir was there for weeks. Was Mathias there with him? What happened?
These are the questions that just hang there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Why the wrong turn in the first place? They knew the way home.
Why abandon a car that could probably have been driven out?
And why walk deeper into the mountains? 18 kilometers through snow, uphill in parts. Instead of trying to go back down towards, civilization, there was a mountain lodge only about 30 kilometers downhill from the car.
And the trailer? The broken window? How did that happen? From inside? Outside?
Weir's surviving so long. The food supplies in the shed nearby, were they used? Why did Weir starve if there was food? He was found wrapped in sheets, but thin.
And Mathias? His shoes are there. Did he leave the trailer? Why? Where could he possibly go without shoes in the snow? Did something happen in the trailer?
Investigators had this theory, around the corner syndrome. The idea that maybe they saw snowmobile tracks or lights and thought help was just over the next ridge, so they kept going.
But the families hated that theory. They were adamant. They said the guys, especially with their backgrounds, would have either stayed with the car for warmth or walked downhill towards that lodge they likely knew about.
Yeah, you can understand their frustration. It feels too simplistic, maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain leaving the car or why Weir ended up in the trailer or Mathias's shoes.
Right. And initially, there was some focus on Mathias himself because of his schizophrenia diagnosis. Could he have had an episode? Could he have somehow been responsible?
But there was never any evidence of that. And the sheriff's department eventually came out and said they believed he was likely a victim too, possibly a foul play, just like the others.
Which opens up that whole other can of worms. Foul play. There were rumors, weren't there?
Oh, yeah. Whispers about a fight in Chico that night. Talk of some town bully figure. Even a supposed confession in a church years later. But nothing concrete ever came of it.
Just rumors, really. No solid proof of any specific encounter.
And online, you see all sorts of theories batted around. Maybe Mathias did have a break and led them astray. Maybe they were chased by someone after leaving Chico.
Or maybe they stopped to help someone, a Good Samaritan thing, and it went terribly wrong.
It's possible. But again, no evidence. And those witness accounts, like Schoen's or the supposed diner sighting, they're just not reliable enough to build a case on.
You know, one thing that probably didn't help was how the case started. It was a missing persons case initially, right? Not homicide.
Exactly. Which means the car, the scene, might not have been processed with the same level of forensic scrutiny as if they'd suspected foul play from the start.
Yeah.
Evidence could have been lost, overlooked.
Degraded by time and weather, especially up there.
So almost half a century on, here we are, the Yuba County Five, still unsolved. It's chilling.
It really is a tragic story that just doesn't make sense. You keep coming back to those core mysteries.
The wrong turn,
The abandoned car.
the trek into the wilderness,
We are surviving for so long in that trailer.
and Matthias, vanishing completely, leaving only his shoes.
No definitive answers. None at all.
So, as you, listening, think about all this. Think about all those pieces, the men themselves, their vulnerabilities, the weather, the location, those bizarre choices. Is there any single thing that could possibly tie it all together?
Or is it just a cascade of bad luck, confusion, maybe something sinister we'll never know? What part of this whole story sticks with you the most? For me, it's the shoes in the trailer.
Yeah. It's a stark reminder, isn't it, how quickly things can go wrong, and how some questions, some mysteries, might just stay that way, forever out of reach.